Senator Ngugi Joe Joseph Newton.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, thank God that today I'm the first one to make a contribution.
Senator, maybe just before you proceed, I can see these quite a number of senators would wish to make some comments, and therefore we have to limit the time within which each one of us will speak. And I suggest we take 2 minutes per senator. Proceed, Senator.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I think I'm going to... I thank the committee for the decision approved. However, Mr. Speaker, because you have said that we can offer words of wisdom, and I thank God that the governor is here, I think most of the problems that are in Meru, Mr. Speaker, comes from maybe the way the governor carries out her business. She is a lady, an honorable lady, that has made great achievements, being the first woman to be elected on any other seat in Meru other than that of a woman rep, elected on an independent ticket, you know, flooring giants like Kiraito and Linturi. But Mr. Speaker, I think I want to advise the governor, all those achievements should not make power get into her head, Mr. Speaker, going forward. Her concerns were very valid about the Catholic Church occupying, for example, and collecting rent from county property, you know, leaders pressurizing her. Governor.
Senator Newton, you are veering off, and I'm afraid I may stop you there. So conclude your comments. Yeah. I was very clear when I debate the report. All I said is because...
Thank you for that guidance, Mr. Speaker. I think I'm going to be very brief. Advise the governor to then, you know, be very careful when she leads, and that you don't have to say no. Even if you mean no, you can say yes, Madam Governor, even when you mean no, and you do not have to pick quarrels with anybody. And Mr. Speaker, because I don't want to get into the matter again, I just want to say as generally that maybe in future we may consider, when you are impeached from one office, that you may not even occupy another public office. And I think, Mr. Speaker, maybe we may have to look at the rules of this House so that, Mr. Speaker...
Your time is up, Senator. Senator Osotsi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, mine is very brief. I will start by thanking the committee of 11 honorable members who have done a very wonderful job under the leadership of my neighbor, Senator Boni Khalware, another name, the bullfighter. We were watching them. They were very objective. And I must say that Honorable Khalware is a medical doctor, but he sounded like a lawyer. The way he was prosecuting issues as the chair of the committee, it is something we need to thank you for that. And the committee worked long hours. Some of us stayed on the TV until 2 a.m. in the night watching the committee work. I think that is a good spirit that this Senate must cultivate. Mr. Speaker, without going into the substance of this report, I just want to say that maybe this is the time that we need to fast-track the impeachment bill so that some of the challenges we have noted, including the shortest time of impeaching the governor, we must define after how long should a governor be impeached, and many other challenges, including the constitutional threshold of impeaching a governor. Otherwise, thank you, the committee. I have known Governor Kawira. We served together in the National Assembly in 2 committees of House Business and ICT, and I'm sure that this is a learning point. She will have an opportunity to read the report, and some of the flaws that were noted, she will be able to improve and be a better governor. Thank you very much, the committee, for a wonderful job.
Senator Oroba Gloria.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'm very delighted to be in this house today. And it is wise that you have given us an opportunity to answer. You are a governor. You are elected under an independent ticket. You trounced very powerful veteran men. And you should hold your head up high. And we should learn to address people with their right titles, even as we go through all types of motions. Mr. Speaker, allow me just to say that because the governor is seated here, and I feel as though, as much as this is a learning moment, it should not be a moment to bring you down as an elected governor and an independent ticket. I want to say, as we are looking, we also have to look at the Bills of Rights. And under the Bills of Rights, we have equality and freedom from discrimination, such that when the motions are being brought to the House, it should be about devolution. It should be about following the law, the Constitution, and not about how assertive someone is, or how passionate someone is, or how firm someone is, but whether or not they have defied the Constitution, whether or not removal from office. It should not be about whether you like how someone looks or how they do not look, because, Mr. Speaker, as women in this House, sometimes we can be misconstrued. Our walking styles might be misconstrued, but those are not grounds of impeachment. So for the future, and for the future of devolution, let us try and stick to the grounds of removal, which is gross violation.
Your time is over, Senator Gloria. Kindly take your seat. Kindly take your seat. Senator Margaret Kamar.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. These 2 minutes would not have been enough for us to congratulate the committee and to congratulate Her Excellency Governor Kawira. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the committee. When we talked to them as they were formed, we really requested them to be fair and to be seen to be fair, to be honest in their dealings. We told them that we would like Kenyans to see the integrity of this House, and they have done it. Congratulations, our committee, and we really appreciate you. Mr. Speaker, I want to congratulate Her Excellency the Governor for the way she handled herself, with a lot of decorum, speaking nothing but the truth. I want to tell my brother, my chair of education, that pastors have only one truth. It is the truth. So there is no way you can say another truth when you are talking to MCAs for standing firmly on nothing but the truth. Mr. Speaker, I came all the way from Eldoret driving because when you called us, there were no flights from Eldoret. And the reason governor was elected by 209,148 of Meru. And I told myself, in 2 months, a very enthusiastic county assembly has discovered the faults that the people, and I was very concerned. I wanted to listen to what our committee has done, and that's why I say congrats to our committee. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We wish you all the best, and we'll discuss the issue of gender later, because it came up during our discussion.
Honorable Sigay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. You have indicated that we make comments on what wise men would make. And I want to congratulate the committee chaired by the Honorable Senator Boni Halwale for a good job well done. I believe in the fullness of time we shall have session or non-substantiation of the matter that has been before this House. But Mr. Speaker, going into the future, I do think that we might have, in a matter of impeachment, the option or the opportunity to be granted in terms of timing, which is a very key issue, as to at what point can a governor who's been elected into office be available for impeachment. And secondly, if and when a report has been taken by a house, like in this case, do we just, as a house, which we have said we are bound by the committee report, just have it that way? I think going into the future, the report that has been presented by the special committee that has been selected. Mr. Speaker, I once again thank the committee for the job that they've done, and wish this House and the Honorable Governor and her team, and together with the people of Meru, Merry Happy New Year and happy festivities. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Obed Sengo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I take this opportunity to congratulate the committee and the leadership at Tamboni Alwale, the bullfighter. Actually, you have done us proud. Thank you so, so much. We followed the proceedings and you did a marvelous job. Mr. Speaker, sir, allow me to really also thank the Kenyans who elected and the Meru people who elected Her Excellency Governor Kawira. I'm happy as a women leader that we have retained the number of female governors, and I urge Kenyans in future to elect more women, because this is a route to achieve actualization of the 2/3 gender rule. To Governor Kawira, Her Excellency, I know she's a woman of God. She has learned her lessons and should do a fantastic job for people of Meru. Otherwise, thank you, our committee. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Kenyans. Thank you.
Senator Karen Nyamu.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity to give some guiding words for future. First of all, I want to congratulate the committee. I am indeed a very happy woman, and a proud one at that. We were closely following the proceedings, and just like you have found, we had questions too. To the county assemblies in this country, and necessary. Not every feud you have with the governor should land in the Senate in form of impeachment proceedings. The matter of first gentleman is going to be a normal occurrence, because a lot of us have ambitions to be governors in this country, and so our spouses should not be victimized. Another thing, Governor Kawira, we have witnessed double standards when it comes to women leadership. I am a recent victim, and we have to stand firm. We have to stand firm in our space with no apologies, and we are here to stay. Women leadership is here to stay. We will not be victimized anytime we do much less than our male counterparts are doing. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Wambua.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I take this opportunity to congratulate Governor Kawira for being acquitted. I want to take this opportunity again to really thank the special committee led by the Majority Whip for doing a fantastic job. Mr. Speaker, because you said you wanted us to give some wisdom, Mr. Speaker, here is wisdom. It may be bitter, but this is wisdom. Mr. Speaker, we are here because the County Assembly of Meru brought an impeachment against their governor and intergovernmental relations, complaining bitterly that he had not been included in the committee, he had not been consulted. The Speaker, going forward, the devolution committee of the Senate, on this one, They stood back and watched as Meru crumpled. I'm hearing mamas in Kiambu County, in Kisii County, in Nakuru County. It is the responsibility of the devolution committee to move suo moto on their own motion, Mr. Speaker, to go to counties where there are issues and try to resolve those issues before we get into an issue of impeachment. The Speaker, going forward.
Speaker, let me be a prophet. 40 years from today, Mr. Speaker, when all of us will not be seated here, the people of this country may decide that they will choose a president coming not from the two major political formations that will be in existence at that time. The people of this country may choose to elect an independent candidate into State House. Mr. Speaker, that president will not be having committee members. He will not be having any person in the House, but the will of the people. Mr. Speaker, going forward, it is my prayer that we will look at the law that will respect the will of the people. The will of the people, Mr. Speaker, is the high currency that we live all of us by. And unless there is such gross violation, Mr. Speaker, we must never, ever, ever allow those who have been placed by the will of the people to serve them in expression of their collective thinking, collective opinion, to be removed from those offices. Mr. Speaker, the law must be made clear. If it is so difficult to remove a member of parliament, if it is so difficult to remove a senator or even an MCA, Mr. Speaker, why should it be so easy to remove a governor who is elected by the will of a people of an entire county? Mr. Speaker, this must come to an end. We don't have to love each other. We must work with each other. You are a governor, I'm a senator. You are a member of parliament. We didn't come there because we love each other. Mr. Speaker, it is because of the will of the people that we serve there. And I'm urging our people.
Your time is up. Honorable Edwin Sifuna.
Opportunity to be on that committee. I admit that it has been a learning curve. I thank all the councils for the parties who have enriched our research here, Mr. Speaker. The people of Meru for being patient with us. Mr. Speaker, I have lost a lot of friends, I can confess, because for the past few days I have refused to answer my phone from the phone calls that have been coming from Meru. But people must understand that when we take up this responsibility, it's a solemn duty to this House, Mr. Speaker. I want to just share out of the experiences 3 things, Mr. Speaker. First of all, as a committee, we feel the level and extent of the involvement of our colleagues who are not members of that committee. At some point, Mr. Speaker, and my chair will bear me witness, the committee felt under siege because, of course, from our colleagues, because, of course, there was a lot of interest. So we need to make that clear. Number 2, Mr. Speaker, is the question of time that it takes for us to investigate some of the number 80 on the, once the report is tabled. I believe because of the interest, members should be allowed to debate. Finally, Mr. Speaker, my advice is that the Council of Governors must look into training of newly elected governors on various issues of capacity. I believe they need to be trained even on very basic provisions of the Constitution, basic provisions of the law. They need to be taken through these courses because I believe elected leaders come from different backgrounds, Mr. Speaker. And some of the problems we see people getting themselves into is because of a misapprehension, misunderstanding, or just basic ignorance of the law, Mr. Speaker, and many of these things can be. We've demonstrated, Mr. Speaker, that in these matters, gender is not an issue. That in fact, men can defend women, women can defend men, and vice versa. I thank you, Mr. Speaker, and I want to leave it there, advise the County Assembly.
The Honorable Tabitha Mutinda.
Want to say keep it up because we do not want to foresee more impeachments. We would want the elected governors to keep performing. I also especially want to thank Her Excellency Governor Kawira and say that it's not just a win for you, the governor, nor the women of this country, but we've upheld the Constitution. And I would also want to support His Excellency the President on the legislative matters of the funds, that is the NGCF fund, Oversight Fund, and the Ward Fund. All we had and all this, what the MCAs needed was the Ward Fund. And I appreciate that the governor was able to identify the problem and also was able to give the solution. Governor Kawira, Your Excellency, Meru is my home too. I look forward that let Meru shine. And I know that you're going to be able to work with the MCAs. All they needed, you've been able to identify. Keep the spirit. You're not just a woman governor. You are a leader. In the future, we will not just have women leaders, but we are going to have leaders. Keep leading by example. And what the committee has also advised, as I had Senator Peris Tobiko mentioning, just kindly try and work with your team. You need the MCAs, they need you. And we believe Meru will shine. It is one of the good, productive counties. I am proud of Meru.
Sekilenku. The Honorable Senator is dozing, I can see from a distance, if you're not hearing me. Honorable Seki.
Yes. I'm already upstanding. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Let me take this opportunity to congratulate the committee for the good work done. I want to say thank you so much because you've made this Senate today proud. And we want to say thank you so much for even being brief. Chair, for bringing very few issues. The issues that has been raised against the governor were very few. And I think you've also brought it the issues were not really something that can make this governor out of his office. I want to say thank you for the governor of Meru. I want to congratulate you once again being elected. And I want to say that please take the issues that has been raised by the committee. I could really follow the proceedings, and I happen to hear Mheshimiwa Senator Peris advising even you on how you should also take it up in future. Please take those recommendations and advice very keenly. Try to observe them, because it is not very good, again, to come here again. It will not be a very good thing again to come to this Senate again. Try to observe the recommendations by the committee, and I think going forward we will see a good county, we will see a consultative county. All leaders that has been elected.
Senator Hamida.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I also want to echo my colleagues. I want to appreciate our very able chair, led by Senator Khalwale and Senator Kabindu, for the good work. Well done. We are really proud of you. To Her Excellency Governor Kawira, you've been given another lease of life, more or less. It should not be the end of anything, but just the beginning of everything. To the MCAs, to the Meru County, kindly support Governor Kawira. I am sure this time she has learnt a lesson and she will work with you. Asante. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Senator Cheptumo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to also appreciate the committee for doing a good job. Mr. Speaker, I served with the governor when she was the women rep for Meru. And Mr. Speaker, I would like to thank this committee because Mr. Speaker, Article 181 sets out the grounds on which we can impeach a governor. It was important for the committee, Mr. Speaker, to apply those principles of law on the allegations made against the governor. This House, Mr. Speaker, shall continue to stand for Kalwala and your team. Mr. Speaker, life is about learning. Mr. Speaker, leadership is about challenges. I would like to call upon the governor that, Madam Governor, for the last several days, you've gone through a process, listening to allegations made against you by your MCAs and the other leaders. You are a bishop. Yesterday, you made very clear comments in your closing remarks, and you spoke about you will forgive, and you will listen, and you are prepared to sit down with the other leaders. I want to call upon you that that is the way to go, because those who elected the senator, the governor, the women rep, the MCAs are the very great people of Meru County. You need to unite them so that you are able to move together. Mr. Speaker, I want to agree that we need to look at the laws on impeachment. Is the 10 days, Mr. Speaker, for the committee to retreat, if you were to have one, enough? I believe it was not enough. That is why the team had to stay long. And
Senator Monteith Batuli Beatty.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving me that opportunity to also join my colleagues in congratulating the very able committee, which did a good job. Her Excellency, the Governor, to, by her own words, to please take it up. It's a second chance. Let her show the nation that women can also lead. The other thing, Mr. Speaker, sir, I would want to say is, could this House look at the issue of the roles of the first husbands and the first ladies, so that in future this conflict, Your Excellency.
Senator Wamatinga.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker, sir, for giving this opportunity. I would also want to kick it off by congratulating the committee for the job well done. They've done this House a lot of proud. Senator Kawira and the other 10 members, thank you very much. Mr. Speaker, sir, coming from a county that experienced some attempt to impeach the first governor of Meru County, 5 years down the line, there was nothing that was delivered to the people of Meru. Mr. Speaker, sir, my request to the governor of Meru County and the leadership of Meru County, it is the high time that they sit together as leaders and realize that they were voted into the office to work for the people of Meru. The pulling and pushing, Mr. Speaker, sir, it will lead us to waste 5 years in Meru County. It would be unfortunate if Meru County were to take the same path. Mr. Speaker, sir, we are all leaders chosen by the same people to make sure that we serve them. As stated before, Mr. Speaker, sir, we do not necessarily need to love each other, but we must get a formula of working as leaders, and most importantly, and I heard that repeatedly said during the committee sessions, in the name of Jesus Christ, we must be able to work together. I think this is a working formula among the governor, the executive, the MCAs, and all other elected leaders so that they can move the county, the great county of Meru forward. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Senator Manzo.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for this opportunity once again. Mr. Speaker, I really want to congratulate the committee, and would like to say that, Mr. Speaker, Parliament, and for that matter, Senate, is forever wise. And I really want to thank Honorable Boni Alwale for his leadership in this matter. And you know, you have shown to the country that devolution is important and it must be protected. Mr. Speaker, we've had experiences like this in Makueni. And Makueni went through this. We wasted a lot of time on unnecessary things and a lot of resources in development that particular time when we had a similar situation. So for Meru have to learn from our experience, which followed then. The participants of this particular event were very nasty. And I believe things are going to be different in Meru. I really want to wish the people of Meru well. I want to wish them peace, reconciliation, and that they can put their great county together and things will work well. And finally, I really want to wish the people of Meru, people of Makueni, and the people of Kenya Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Senator Mandago.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, let me speak to two things, Mr. Speaker, on matters impeachment. One, Mr. Speaker, I think it will be important for this Honorable House to follow on its own recommendations where it has been made in past impeachment, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, there is standing order number 82 that gives only 10 days to the committee. Mr. Speaker, for any committee to do a more serious work in terms of reporting, there will be need to do that. Two, Mr. Speaker, I want to say that matters impeachment over gender matters. And Mr. Speaker, we get completely disappointed when they are looked in the eyes of gender. We are looking at a governor who has been elected and a serving governor. Mr. Speaker, I want to ask that in all leadership status, Mr. Speaker, we have to respect all leaders regardless of their cadre, whether they are MCAs, whether they are members of parliament. And I would strongly recommend, Mr. Speaker, that this House looks into making a unified law that enables counties to have ward development fund. And the mistaken perception that MCAs will be responsible for these funds is actually not true. It is the executive who actually use the funds to implement, but to bring the requests of their citizens to the executive, and having a fund that's of the residents of the wards who are also residents of that county, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, going into the future, we need to expedite the
Senator, your time is up. Senator Eddie Okech.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just like my leader in the party, Secretary General Sifuna, Senator Sifuna, I want to thank this House for giving us the opportunity to be able to be in this committee and to examine and investigate the issues that were raised from the County Assembly of Meru. And I want to thank you for the trust you put in us. And I hope that in that spirit, we will be putting trust in each other for whichever committee opportunity we are given. Lastly, I wanted to be able to register, Mr. Speaker, that this House is established to protect the interests of counties and our county government. And those county governments are inclusive of both the counties working together, and I hope that as
Mr. Speaker,
Senator, nobody approaches the chair for seeking time to speak. We shall speak by the dashboard.
thank you. That same God that distributed other opportunities. Mine is to request you to be humbled by the calling of leadership. Kindly get in touch with the leaders of Meru. Sit down together within the confines of the law and try and work with them. We have executed this impeachment process and we believe...
Pia mimi kuchangia ripoti hii. Kwanza naipa kongole kamati iliongozwa na mpiganishaji mafahali ambao amefanya kazi nzuri na imeipa moyo wa miezi minne sasa. Na Mheshimiwa Spika, kwenda mbele ni kwamba lazima tuangalie kama tunaweza kuirekebisha sheria ili kabla watu kwenda katika masuala ya kubanduliwa uongozini, impeachment, kuwe kuna taratibu ambazo zinafuatwa. Kwa mfano, waweze kupita katika ile kama tume mnaitwa Intergovernmental Relations Committee. Waweze kwenda pale kwanza wajaribu kutatua matatizo yao kupitia mazungumzo na arbitration, wakishindwa ndio waende katika swala la mwisho la impeachment. Yaani hii swala la kubandulia mtu mamlakani ni kwa sababu mtu akibanduliwa hawezi tena kusimamia cheo chochote, hata baraza ya chifu pia hawezi kupata cheo. Hiyo ni silaha ya mwisho ambayo inaweza kutumika kumuondoa mtu mamlakani kwa masuala kama hayo. Kwa Mheshimiwa Spika, Pia swala la unapobanduliwa mamlakani, yule deputy governor
ni Khalwale kwa kuongoza kamati ambayo ilikuwa inachunguza mambo haya. Kazi uliyoifanya ndugu yangu, ama mlioifanya nyinyi kama kamati, sisi sote tunapatia hongera. Cha pili, Bwana Spika, nafikiria nataka kudirector ama kuongea na dada yetu Kawira. Kawira umepewa mamlaka na wananchi wa Meru. Ni lazima uangalie katika mamlaka yako unayoyatumia na utenda kazi wako, ni kwamba watu wa Meru ndio wanangoja hiyo.
Gives a right each and every Kenyan right to opinion, right to say who they are, unless the Senate has changed and decided to gag its members from expressing their position. And if anything that we say, Mr. Speaker.
Cover your seat. Senator Cherang'ei, you're holding. Kindly proceed to Standing Order 122, gross disorderly conduct. I have made a ruling. You don't debate my ruling. You don't. 122A. Senator commits an act of gross disorderly conduct if the senator defies a ruling or direction of the Speaker or chairperson of the committee. That is exactly what you have done. Now, before I give you the consequences of doing so, I'm giving you the last opportunity. Proceed to retract and apologize.
Mr. Speaker, the Constitution is very clear. These standing orders emanates from the Constitution. But the Supreme, when they whistled at the floor of the House, Mr. Speaker, the court made its ruling. I am expressing my opinion according to that, Mr. Speaker, you say anything we make here will not have any consequences, Mr. Speaker. And therefore, Mr. Speaker...
Have a seat. Senator Cherang'ei, have a seat. Have a seat. I will take you to Standing Order 122-2, and it provides as follows. The Speaker may call a senator whose conduct is grossly disorderly and shall order the senator to withdraw immediately from the precincts of Parliament on the first occasion for a maximum of 3 sitting days. This is your first occasion. I order you to withdraw for the remainder of the day. Kindly proceed to withdraw. Senator Mwaruma. Senator Mwaruma.
Fursa umenipa ili kuchangia kwamba nashukuru kamati kwa ile kazi walifanya, na nashukuru bunge hili kunipa fursa kuingia kwa hiyo kamati. Tuliangalia ule mswada wa kumondoa gavana wa Meru. Wakasema kwamba labda katika ile sheria ya impeachment tuangalie mambo kadha wa kadha. Ya kwanza ni kumondoa gavana ni mchache mno. Tulifanya kazi usiku na mchana, na tunatakana tuangalie ile sheria kwa sababu mapendekezo mengi ya ripoti za impeachment yanaonyesha kwamba inatakikana muda huo. Tutaangalia huo mswada, hiyo sheria.
I've managed to convince voters to elect them as governors, to be given an opportunity to serve the people of the great county of Meru. You came to the Senate looking for justice.